letting society tell you about the best skincare routines, the hottest plastic surgeons, or the cream that will keep your skin from aging. It's time we start asking ourselves, what the fuck is beauty anyway? If we remove all the IG filters, is there more to a beautiful face than just skincare? Well, I'm here to share it with you, and hell yeah, there is. My name is Jen Carrasco. I have been an esthetician, as well as a high-level fitness competitor, and an all-around badass for over a decade. And I need you to know there is way more to keeping your mind and body clean than just a cream. Join me each week as I cut the BS out of getting healthy, caring for ourselves, and caring for our skin. I share real tips, real ingredients, and real experience. Now let's get some answers on what the fuck is beauty anyway. Hey guys, it's Jen Carrasco here with What the Fuck is Beauty Anyway? And I'm sitting here with my bestie, Michelle.
Hello.
So I was asked with doing this podcast that people want to hear who I am and my story and why I feel like I should be having a podcast and why in the hell I should be telling you what I think in this whole world of the beauty industry or skincare or health or whatever we're going to talk about. So I wanted to do this podcast with my bestie because she knows me the best and she's been around through thick and thin and have watched me definitely have some great disasters and some great achievements, but all along, I don't think she realizes how much she's made me a better person. So
thank you.
Here I am getting sappy. But I wanted to talk about Michelle a little bit. So how did we meet?
Gosh, we met through our boys playing baseball together.
Yeah.
So they were both on the same team. So we just kind of watching the games and kind of just probably, I think, instantly connected with each other. So maybe just a love at first sight kind of thing.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Yes.
So we've been together through everything.
Yeah, it's been 12 years we've been together. I kind of feel like, especially you, that we kind of grown up together. I mean, you were, 28 when we met, so definitely been through a lot together in the last 12 years. So I've seen you go through some really, really, really great times and some really, really low times. So I've just been glad to be there and support you through all that and still be here, and just seeing you flourish now, it just warms my heart.
So I want to maybe start from the get-go. I know when I was designing the podcast, what my achievements were and what I wanted to do is I really want to put out into the world about being a strong woman and a strong individual and being able to own your own and being able to do things in life that you want to do, because life is finite and we only make of it what we make. Like, I had a discussion today with one of my clients, and he does ballet, and he says, I want to actually join a ballet team, or I want to actually go out there and perform this, but I don't feel that I'm ready for it. And that's kind of how I felt even with podcasts, and that's how I felt even with my athlete, or even trying to get my pro card. Is I always doubted myself. And the thing is that here I am at 40 years old, and if I would have just done what I wanted to do when I was 20 and actually pushed myself, I mean, I would be 50 million times more than what I am right now.
Right.
And I mean, I'm just starting. I don't feel like I actually look back and think to myself that there's a lot of years wasted that I really fucked up big time.
Well, I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of us kind of feel like when we're going through our 20s, we're still trying to discover ourselves and really trying to figure out our life purpose.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like you're really on the path for that. I think over the last 12 years, you've really, everything that's happened to you, good and bad, has led you exactly where you are today and where you're meant to be.
And I think that Michelle and I have become great friends, best friends for years, is that we both came from marriages, broken marriages with children, and that we had to do it on our own, and we didn't have help, and we had to push forward and do these things. And I really think where we gravitate a lot towards, because we help to keep each other stronger. So starting back to my journey of why I started skincare or why I started the clinic is I was 19 when I got married and I had my son when I was 21. A lot of times I think young people, we just think we have to get married and we have to have kids, and that's how it is. And we're with the people and not everything's perfect and we just make it work. And even if we're not happy, that's how people are, and they act like they're happy and they work through it and they stay married for 30 years. That was my feeling of marriage. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's wrong. Both my parents were on their third marriage now, so I didn't get a really great start. I didn't really have a great foundation.
Role model, right?
You know, of what a good marriage was. I guess what a sidekick is or what a best friend is. My mom was a single mom raising 2 kids, so that's how I learned. I learned that you need to take care of yourself because you can't depend on anybody else. And that was always been my mindset. So I guess I never really trusted anybody to help me. And I guess I even have hard times sometimes with friends because I have an open heart and I let people in way too much than what I probably should sometimes. But it's funny with men, I don't have that. I just click it off right away. I don't know what's wrong with me. So anyway, that's my flaw. I had my son at 21 and marriage wasn't a great marriage. I pretty much was doing a lot on my own and marriage was going downhill. I was actually got a job working at the skincare clinic that I own now. And I was there maybe a year after my son was born and I was working a lot. I was cleaning houses on Mondays. I would clean the shop on Sundays. I would work during the week. I would take him with me wherever I could go because I needed money. So a lot of people don't realize that, you know, my mom is pretty well off. My dad has always been great. I never really wanted to ask for help. And there's a lot of times that I would make dinner at night and I would have to grind it up, and that was my son's baby food. I wasn't able to buy baby food. I had to make baby food. There's a lot of times that my mom would buy him brand new sippy cups and I would be completely envious that I couldn't buy him sippy cups. I couldn't buy him the nice things. I had to go to the dollar store. I have to go to handout places. We lived on welfare. I had food stamps. I was on WIC, and this was my first job and I worked my ass off. And if it wasn't for my family helping me out with taking him on the weekends, I really don't know where I would be.
So can we just back up a little bit and kind of go, so by now you're an esthetician.
I am an esthetician.
Okay, so what prompted you to want to become an esthetician and go to school and do all that?
So pretty much since I was a young girl, I've always been into athletes or athletic, you know, baseball, whatever it is. But I was always definitely the tom girl who always had her makeup and her hair done. So I was always into hair, skin. I started skincare, when I was like 13 with Mary Kay with my mom. And so that was just my passion. So I always knew from a little girl what I wanted to do. So when I got married at 19, I actually, the first day of my orientation for school, I found out that I was pregnant. And so I graduated literally 2 weeks after Gabe was born. So like I said, if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have been able to push through school because they would watch him and I would go to school. Actually, that was my mother-in-law that watched him, who is fabulous, by the way. So that's what led me to where I was. So anyway, I guess getting back to working at Rosina's, I worked there, and through all of it, I actually started excelling. I started to get a lot of clientele. I started to actually do really, really good to where I could cut down cleaning houses on the weekends. And at that point, I decided my marriage wasn't what I wanted it to be anymore. So I went ahead and filed for a divorce, and it was a quick divorce, but definitely a lot of issues. But anyway, got a divorce, and then I was in the practice for about 4 years, and then the owner decided to offer me the opportunity to buy the property and the business. So at age 24, I am looking at trying to qualify for $1 million loan. So with that being said, because I was buying the property and I was buying the business, it was an asset. And then on top of that, I was a female, and a single mom on top of it. So I qualified for a lot of services. So with that being said, I had some great outside help to give me a down payment with that. And I was able to purchase my business at age 24.
So you had the building,
I had the building and the business.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
So at age 24, I knew fucking nothing about owning a business. All as I learned was hard work pays off. It was an education process for me to learn payroll, learn taxes, learn workman's comp, learn,
manage employees.
Shit, it was a lot. So anyway, I did it, but like being a young person, I did not know the essence of putting money away and actually saving money. So I literally did really good. I made really great money. We went to Disneyland. We went here. We did this. We did that. But guess what? I didn't save a freaking dime.
Well, this is probably like probably the first time in your life you actually had money and able to buy those things for your son that you had so long been wanting to do before. Yeah.
So I bought us a condo. We went to Disneyland a couple times, bought myself a new car. Anyway, long story short, the economy hit. So with that happening and me not planning, I took a downturn. Now, I guess I should reel back a little bit. I met my second husband during that time. So during that time, I actually got remarried. And gosh, I think it was 2 years after we got married or a year after we got married, that's when the economy took a downturn. So it couldn't have happened at perfect timing because I was married.
Right.
So anyway, long story short, I had to file a bankruptcy. So with filing a bankruptcy was a lot of havoc because we were married and it defaulted on his credit as well. So let me tell you, I got a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of shit that wasn't my fault. There was a lot of nights of a lot of crying, a lot of what the fuck do I do? And honestly, looking back now, I think I could have pushed through it. I just didn't think, I think I listened to everybody else telling me to give up, and I did. But I really think I could have pushed through it. And I kind of kicked myself in the ass for not doing it. But anyway, that's life.
What's done is done.
So my property that I bought was worth $650,000. The business was already paid off by then. Now the property was only worth, I think it was $230,000 at that time.
That was some bad times.
So I walked away. With walking away from that, I opened up I kept the business, but I lost the property and I actually lost my condo. I pretty much lost everything. And then from there on, thankfully I had a fabulous client who owned a lot of property, and he set me up in this great place in Green Valley. So I took my practice to Green Valley, and without any help from anybody setting it up or helping me out over Thanksgiving, I think it was the 3 days of Thanksgiving, I hired a company to come in and actually help move me, and I built that whole place in 3 days by myself. I think I had him come in and put up mirrors like one night, and that was it.
The heavy stuff.
So I did it all in about 3 days, and I was up and running, I think that Monday or whatever it fell on, I don't remember, taking clients. So that's what I did. And through all that, I wasn't happy. There was a lot of issues in my marriage, a lot of things that, I don't talk about with a lot of people except for Michelle. She knew a lot.
But some positive things that were going on during that time too was you kind of discovered the bodybuilding and doing all that. Yeah. So that was kind of a little bit of a light for you.
I think I turned in all of my focus from my marriage into being an athlete. And becoming a figure competitor. And unfortunately, that was probably horrible of me. I probably should have worked on my marriage a little bit more, but I just didn't want to. I think I was done a long time ago, but like you say, you just work on something that you think you're supposed to work on. So long story short is I pushed, I think, everything into competing. So I wanted to get back into shape. I was pretty unhealthy, not super unhealthy, but definitely, some poundage over. And
she was still hot.
I was still hot.
Still hot.
Booty on me. I don't know how I got a black girl booty and a white girl body. So I started working out at, it was Gold's Gym back then, and got a trainer, kind of got back into shape, decided that I wanted to do a competition, and that would lead me to actually having to get fit because my ass would be on a stage in front of people, and I'm not going to look all,
And your first go around was bikini.
My first one was bikini.
Yes.
So bikini, and there was, I think, 29 girls, and my first show, and I placed, I think it was 12th, which is pretty good for an NPC show. I think for your first time not knowing anything what to do.
Right.
So I remember after that show, my other half would say, "This is your last show, you're not doing this again." And I think Michelle knows me very well, that if you say...
That's right. Nobody tells Jennifer what to do.
So I think that gave me even more ammo to be like, okay, great, I'm going to do another show. So what do I want to do next? So I decided to actually, I'm not a bikini competitor. I can't get on stage and kind of like flirt my ass unless I have some drinks. It's not in me, like, to be super flirty. I'm like totally tomboyish. So with that being said, I decided to go for figure, and so I put all my emphasis in it, and my first show I actually placed fourth, which qualified me for nationals. So you go there, then you do nationals, and then if you get first place in nationals, you get your pro card. So a lot of times it takes like 10 years to get your pro card. Like it's hard work.
Right.
And I worked my ass off. And I said, hey, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh and I'm going to try to get my pro card. So with all this shit that I got for competing and doing everything that I did, I said, hey, this is what I'm doing anyway, so I'm going to go do it. So either you're going to be a part of it or you're not, which it's not a good relationship. It's not a really good role model. You shouldn't be like that in a marriage. But anyway, I went to Pittsburgh and I got called out second. And I remember my coach in my head telling me to, close your eyes, lift up, push your butt out, push your chest up. And I kept thinking that over and over. And I remember in my head constantly saying, Jen, this is your only chance. Like, do the best that you fucking possibly can because it's your only chance. And I just kept thinking that in my head. And then all of a sudden I got placed first. And then that night I won my pro card. So it's mental. I really think that if you want something in life, you can achieve it and you're going to do it, and it doesn't matter. If it wasn't for me earning my pro card, I don't think that I would be where I am now by any means, because it got First Form involved with me. I've been with them for, I think, 5 years or 4 years now.
Gold's Gym.
Gold's Gym. So they actually helped to get me to a lot of my shows, and it opened up, I think, a lot of avenues for me. It opened up the Virago line, which is my athletic line, and it opened up me to really, a lot of women, I think, wanted to talk more about fitness and things like that, and it just opened up a door to really inspire women to be able to push themselves to do things, whether it be business, losing weight, skin. It was a whole different realm for me, I think. So long story short, I guess I'm blabbering, but anyway, that happened. Then after getting my pro card, I guess I had to face the truth about my marriage. Yeah. So, and it was about 10 years in. Yeah. So I was married for 10 years now.
Yeah, I got the phone call. She said, hey, girlfriend, what you doing later? So I said she's moving out and wanted me to come over and help her move. So next morning, met her over at the house and we packed up the U-Haul, and didn't tell me, but her new apartment was on the 3rd floor. So we got a little bit of a booty workout that day. So carrying all her stuff upstairs, 3 flights of stairs, but it was worth it. So it was a good move for her.
And honestly, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I owned that big ass property in Green Valley, and my rent was astronomical. My bills were astronomical. There's no way in hell I could afford a $2,000 apartment. But there's no way I could have stayed where I was at. Right. I was done. Right. There was no way. Right. And she's amazing, because I literally called her and I said, I'm moving out and I need your help if you can. I got to get out of here. Mm-hmm. And she helped me. We moved all in one day. But
that girl's got a lot of clothes and shoes, by the way.
But I have to say, like, it shows who your friends are and who has your back. There was times she would come over just to check on me, to talk, and then she would leave, and I'd find like $100 just sitting there. Just things that I needed, and I needed the help because I didn't know how I was going to do it. Like, I had no clue. So during this point of my life, I actually sent in my resume before I even left him for the Arnold Australia. And I actually really didn't think that I was going to get picked. And I think I was in my apartment maybe, 3 weeks? And I got a letter that I got picked to the Arnold Australia. And I was like, what the fuck? I can't do this all. So I called my mom and I got a really nice loan from my mom that I'm still paying back, by the way.
I love your mom.
I don't owe her that much more money though. Like, I'm making minimum payments. So with her help, I was able to actually go to Australia and compete in the Arnold Australia, which I'm so glad that I did, because that changed my life. That was the number one thing I think that really altered my way of my thinking and what just led me where I am now. I don't think if I went to the Australia, I don't know if I would have been completely divorced. I mean, I know I'd probably be divorced by now, but I think that it would have strung on a little bit longer than just ending it.
Right. Well, because it was back, you had to been focusing on the Arnold instead of the marriage. So
yeah.
This way, yeah.
So with this, it was actually great timing because I was going through my divorce, and then I was focused on the Arnold, and that's where my focus went to. So there was a lot of things that happened personally within my son, within a lot of of things, but this is not for that podcast. This is for a different podcast because I am not going to talk about things about that happened unless he is present. So we'll talk about that at another time.
Right.
But there was a lot of issues that happened, a lot of negative stuff that happened within the family, within the community. And meanwhile, while I was getting ready for my competition, about 4 weeks into my show,
I got really sick.
I came down with shingles. So my coach at that time told me I was absolutely stupid, that I needed to stop the show, that I shouldn't do it. I have my health at risk. And my thoughts to myself was, well, what the fuck else do I have to lose? I've already lost everything else in my life. So what's the point?
And where did you have the shingles at again?
On my stomach.
On your stomach.
So I had them all along my stomach. So thank God that I know about skincare and I know about healing and I know about ingredients and products because I literally dried up the shingles within 3 days. Now the pain that was underneath was a different story. I remember going to the gym, literally tears rolling off my face, wanting to die, trying to work out to get ready for that show because I wouldn't give in to everybody telling me not to do it because I've never traveled and I wanted to go and I wanted to see the world.
Nobody tells you what to do. See a theme here.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Yes.
But I mean, going to the Arnold must have been, probably really took you to a whole new level as far as the competitors that were there and just the whole competition itself, right?
Being on stage with somebody that's been in Oxygen magazines and it was like amazing. You don't want to be like, can I have your autograph? But it's like, oh, let's take a selfie. It's like, wow, like I'm with these people. Like I'm just your average freaking Joe and I'm sitting here with the girls that are literally on magazines.
Right.
And so for me, it was like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
So,
and I'll have to tell you from my perspective, because it was live, we could watch you online and watch you up there. And I remember staying up until I think it was like 2:00 in the morning because of the time change, knowing you get up on stage and just watching you step on that stage and get up there was just like one of the most proudest moments I ever had of you. It's just like, it like brought tears to my eyes just watching you be up there because I just knew that you were there fulfilling a dream. I watched how much you had sacrificed and how hard you had worked to be up there and you deserved every minute of being on that stage. And I was just so proud of you.
I love you.
So.
See, we're going to get all sad.
I know, we're all right. Anyways, yeah, it was awesome.
But I remember going to bed and I had a mattress and I was sleeping on the floor because I couldn't afford a bed yet. So I bought the mattress to sleep on the floor and I remember laying there and I remember thinking to myself, I wish I would die because it hurt so bad. I wish that I would if I didn't wake up, I would be okay with it because it hurt so bad. Anyway, I remember a cockroach crawling on my face and that's when I decided that I need to get to bed.
This floor is not for me anymore.
So gross.
You came home, so you did your thing there. It was, I know you had an amazing time while you were there too, and you met some people. So.
Yeah, and through all this too, I remember my other good friend Rachel passed away, and I had to deal with a lot of that.
I remember that.
She passed away, which is extremely horrible. But when I did go to Australia, actually he was my athlete driver, which was weird because he was actually an investment guy and he dealt with businesses and CPAs and did all the financial stuff. And he was just helping out a friend to drive people. And he actually had me to drive. And so it's funny because we were talking about business. So I was going through my divorce. I was trying to figure out my business, trying to figure out, I didn't want to work 7 days a week like I did before. And he was like, hey, when you get back home, shoot me your stuff. I'll look at it. We got a great friendship. So from then on out, we struck up a great friendship and turned a little bit more into a friendship. It was a little long distance romance for, year and a half, 2 years. But with that, he encouraged me to merge my practice in with medical clinic. And so with merging my practice, I didn't have all the headache of employees, overhead, everything else. And it freed up a lot of cash flow for me. So with that being said, I could cut back and not work as much. And I was able to travel the world. I think I went to Greece, I went to Thailand, went to Australia for a couple weeks. I learned a lot about cultures and it definitely got me to know that I want to travel in my future. It's not something that's ever going to go away. Long story short is definitely that a long distance relationship from Australia to California is not going to work out.
That's right.
So it was really hard. There's no way it was going to work out. It would take a long time to get where we wanted it to.
I think the relationship served its purpose,
Exactly.
And why he was meant to be in your life. So, but Yeah, it was definitely time to do
So,
your own thing. Yeah.
with that being said, and that ending, a reconnection with my son, which we'll talk about in another podcast, but a reconnection with my son coming back, life getting back to normal, actually everything going really, really well for me. I did really good. And then a little downturn hit, I think, where I was working at. I just don't think that it was a great place for me. It fulfilled its purpose at that point. But during that point, I actually met somebody. So,
well, and on that same timeline, though, you were starting to develop Virago.
oh, I was.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, yes, you were. So tell us about that.
Okay, so Virago. So actually, I always wanted to kind of have a clothing line. And a lot of times, I'm sure a lot of people that know this, that have a clothing line, knows that you can't just have a clothing line and put it on IG and expect to, make $1 million. So it's a brand and you have to build your brand. So with all of this going, I always gravitated towards the word Virago. So Virago is a Latin word and it means strong, brave, warlike woman. And so I always felt like that represented my life. With all the triumphs that I've been, all the down, but all the ups, I just felt like it fit me.
So much so you have it tattooed on your arm.
I do.
Yes.
Yes. So, but with that being said, I actually brainstormed with Michelle and I said, hey, I want to do this. What do you think? You want to help me out? And of course, Michelle always gives me, oh yeah, let's do this. I'm going to do it. So literally totally gung-ho helped me out with this. Even though I think she thought, I don't know where this is going to turn out. I don't know what's going to happen, but fuck it. Let's just go for it. And so she did. And so I have kept Virago for a long time. Started doing that. Gosh.
It was just a jump start. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just been evolving. I mean, over time as you've been going. You've done a lot of educational classes. So what are a couple of them that you've been doing like the last 2 years? I know you've been super busy with. So
when I merged with the medical practice, it allowed me a lot of extra income to do things that I've always wanted to really do. And so I pushed out. So a lot of people don't know. So I do skincare. I do permanent makeup. I also do areola tattooing for cancer patients. Not even cancer patients, but even people with lollipop scars or anything medical. I do scalp micropigmentation, which is tattooing of the scalp. And then I actually went to school to do tattoo removal, which is a non-invasive tattoo removal. So now I do that. And with doing that, I learned fiberglass, which is more of a medical grade skin tightening treatment. So with all of this, I got like tons of knowledge with having that downtime. And honestly, it couldn't have worked. I mean, you don't know why the fuck things happen to you, but they happen to you for a reason. Yeah. So I served my purpose at the medical practice and I felt that it was time to move on my own. Right. So moving on to my own, now I'm starting with myself. I actually walked away from having 11 employees to just working by myself and now trying to branch out and open, get some extra employees with me and estheticians and train them. Well, I should say, doing all that, I met somebody. Yeah, you did. Definitely did. Met a great guy. Before I even moved. Yeah. Shit, I forgot about that. Before I left the practice that I was actually met somebody. This was like the downturn. It was like I was getting ready to leave and I met him. Well, it was almost like one door was closing, another one was opening, right? So yeah. So, so I met my other half and he's a fucking spitfire. So talk about somebody that calls you out on your shit, which I've never had in my life, ever. I've never had somebody tell me anything without me coming back. So I have to say we're like two peas in a pod because we think pretty much the same. He's a little arrogant though. Yeah. He's a little arrogant, but it's a good arrogant. Yeah. It's a little cocky arrogant. It is very cocky, but that's okay. That's kind of is attractive because honestly, she likes it. I think I've always been like the alpha male, so it's kind of nice to have an alpha male. Have that equal. That's like, no, sister, listen, this is what's gonna happen. Right. It's kind of like, ooh, okay, tell me more. Grab my hair when you do that. So yeah, I met my other half. So what does he do? He actually owns Roseville Rockland Electric. So he's an electrician and he's been doing that for 20 years. So it's weird. I've been doing skin for 20. He's been doing that for 20. And I've put this out in the universe that I was never going to marry anybody with kids again or anybody who has ever been married again. So long story short, he's never been married and has no kids. He has Charlie, who is his cat. That's it. Yes. So that is a huge red flag because he's never been married, doesn't have kids, never really held a relationship longer than 6 months, 8 months. Red flag. But honestly, like, we're good. Like, we have no issues. We don't fight. We don't argue. Like, we see the same way. We're into business the same. We're like the same people. It's weird. It's weird.
It works.
So, and he's really dominant in bed. That's like the really good part. See, we both sigh at the same time.
Okay, well, anyways.
Yeah,
It's hot in here, is it?
So, with that being said, I actually started my practice again. So, I opened up my skin clinic again and went ahead and hired another esthetician and training. She's been with me now for 5-6 months, I think. She is doing excellent, by the way. She's fabulous. So, my outcome has definitely different of what I want to do now. I really want to train girls. I want to teach people. I want to educate. I want to teach people my passion. I want to teach them what raw ingredients are, what proper skincare is, what you should be doing internally, externally, help to educate my clients every step of the way. I just feel like there's just so much that I'm passionate about going forward that it's going to change this industry. So it's going to change the outlook. And I have all of the knowledge from opening those businesses on how to actually run a successful business going forward and what I have to do in order to run a successful business going forward. And a lot of that is actually just being a fucking good person and teaching people the right thing. And a lot of it is, I think people think, oh no, you just need to make money, you need to make money. But really, if you educate people and you teach them to do the right thing and you teach proper ways to do things and proper ways to actually love your clients and help them, that's going to grow your business. That eventually is going to make you money. But honestly, it's not about the money to me. It's actually about helping people.
Right.
I get that fulfillment.
Right. And that's been a big thing for you all along too, is always just giving back and really investing in other people.
Yeah.
It's like you've been taking this time to invest in yourself and you want to share that with others, you know, so you're giving back to either your clients or just our community in general. That's just, I think, been your focus lately, and going forward, that's something you want to keep on doing.
So with doing all of this, Kevin, which is my other half, asked me to actually step in one day a week at Roseville Rockland and help him with his business, since I was able, I saw a couple things that needed to kind of be tweaked in the business a little bit. And he was like, well, why don't you come on one day a week? And I was like, okay, sure. What the hell? So I came on one day a week and the business definitely did a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, can you give me 2 days a week? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And then maybe within, a couple weeks or a month into it, he actually asked me if I would be a CEO of the company and sign on a 50% partnership. Mm-hmm. So I guess we're not really getting married, but we own businesses together.
Oh, that's okay.
So, yeah. So to me, that's like actually good, because I'm not.
Well, your business is your baby now, right? I'm not
good
bond
with like the marriage thing, but the businesses thing, like we're good.
You got that down.
We have a commitment.
Okay.
Who knows what's gonna happen? But anyway. So now, I guess after everything, I am CEO of Roseville Rockland Electric, and I am growing my business. And with doing that, I am actually able to hire a personal assistant who's coming on board. And we are going to grow the Virago team. And I don't want to say team because I don't like that word, but the Virago bitches or the Virago girls, I don't know. We have to think of something.
Something clever.
So what I want to do is, going forward, I really want to change the industry. I want to change the way that it thinks. And being with First Form, I feel like it definitely has changed the industry as far as things, as far as the supplement world, but as far as, I think, healthy-wise, I want to change the community a little bit as well. So I decided to come on board and make little group boot camps once a month, which is going to make people accountable for their actions and making sure that women get together and we actually work out as a team. So with doing that, I'm stepping forward with Virago and putting these boot camps together, and I'm asking for donations, and with all the proceeds from the donations, we are actually going to donate them to a local charity of our choice. And the organization of these women have all been single moms at one point, building their own children's lives and their future. So for us, we all actually want to give back to women or children. Mm-hmm. So going forward, that is our goal. So our goal with the team Virago, or the Virago, whatever we want to call it eventually, is going to be for giving back to the community for women and helping women and making women accountable with showing up monthly and getting into shape and doing things to be healthy and healthy mindset. So with that going, I have that going, and then on the other hand, we're growing our electrical company, and I am also growing, which was Rosina's, and I'm actually in the transition of changing it to Virago Skin and Body. I want it to all correlate what strong women can do in this world. I guess that's the story of Jen, and that's what I want to go forward. So I don't know if future prevails. As Michelle knows, I wake up every day and I call her with a different inspiration of what I want to do.
She's like, so I have this idea.
And she's like, oh shit, what are we doing now? So, but I want to get back to and say that I feel like Michelle inspires me. I feel that I want to say the last 2 years, I have seen a difference as far as you doing things and chasing your passions and chasing your dreams and chasing what you want to do. This girl literally does not have a day to breathe. She is giving back to the community constantly. And I feel that I get that inspiration wanting to help the community and doing those things because of her. So I want her, I know this is a long ass podcast, but I want her to kind of give a little bit of her story, because we've just been talking about me, but this is my best friend, my sister. I don't have a sister, so this is my sister.
Yeah.
So tell me about what your passions are now going forward and what you want to do and what you want to see.
I too, a business. So I Forklift is a women-owned business. So we do construction equipment. Been in business just a little over 10 years. So this is construction industry is an industry that's not well represented by women. So I'm on a focus and a goal right now to really change that, to really have more people, more women step into that role and be in an industry that's been very male dominated over, the last century or probably even longer than that. So I've been really working on efforts and doing YouTube videos, doing newsletters, and just really...
And she also needs to say that, what do you do for a job? So meaning going forward, she's going to be on the podcast with me because she's definitely a health guru also.
Right.
And she has great advice as far as nutrition.
Absolutely. So that's been another passion of mine in my life. I went to IIN, which is Nutritional School for Health Coaching. So had that certificate for the last 2 years. As much as I, forklifts and aerial lifts are not, my passion in life, so health truly is. But I do like to invest in things and watch them grow. So, and that's kind of what I'm doing with I-80 Forklift, is really watching that whole aspect of it grow. And that's where Jen and I connect a lot too, on the health side of it. My other passion with that's something we both share together. So in addition to that, just giving back to our community, I really feel like that's something we also share with each other. I serve on several nonprofit boards here in our community, as long as with other committees for local fundraising events in our town too. So just being a part of that and being able to give back to the community is really something that you and I share together. So, and we'll continue to do going forward, because it absolutely gets you in front of people that you normally wouldn't meet. It's been a huge impact on our business.
You inspire me.
Thank you.
So I guess that's a rundown. I mean, I don't think there's anything really else to go forward except for look out world, because we're doing
here we
of
come. Definitely got life experience
Seriously,
with us on our side. Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
So definitely, follow us on our Instagrams. So mine is Jen IFBB Pro. Michelle is, you want to say it? Crazy Haters.
Crazy 4RS.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So follow us on our IG, and definitely, email us. Let us know questions that you have, anything you want us to go over, and we'll definitely do that. I have a couple podcasts coming on that I'm super excited about. So it's going to be a mixture. It's definitely going to be health, fitness, mindset, positive women who have definitely achieved a lot, and skincare, people in the skincare industry, plastic surgeons, nurses. We're going to do a lot. So it's never going to be a dull moment. Shit, we might even have a fucking recipe on here or something. I don't know. So anyway, that's pretty much it.
Good job, sister.
I'm going to say bye.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in this week. I hope you feel more empowered and more inspired to love the skin you're in. As we navigate new society norms and beauty daily, make sure to always ask yourself, what the fuck is beauty to me? And know that's all that matters. If you love this content today, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. Follow me and get more info on my guests at viragostudio.com. Yes, I said it, viragostudio.com. And that's the shit. See you on the next episode, beauties.